And after another break, we have the Kyadondo Sevens coming up. One of the most interesting things I've realized about the Sevens rugby this year is they have been courteous enough to give you a bit of a break in between there, because after Toro Sevens and Rujumba Sevens, the kind of party that was there, surely the body needed to recoup, maybe even wallets needed to recoup. Welcome to the Fat Cats Rugby Podcast. My name is Ruben Kihumuro, and today I'm in the midst of the Kyadondo family. On my left, a very, very good friend of the podcast. He's been here before, and he's back in different capacities today. Mr. Desire Derekford Mugumisa. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having me yet again.
You're now in the elite class of people that have been here more than once. Not everyone gets an opportunity to come back for one reason or the other. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll be a permanent fixture sometime at this rate.
That would be great.
I'm glad to be back.
We appreciate your work with NBS as well, and Next Media in general. We always see. And for those that are really interested in sports, you can also get him there. Maybe you can just give them a clarity on which shows in particular to look out for, and when they can look out for those shows.
Well, currently we could say Sport This Morning is where I've done a couple of segments, but of course that will also come with a few changes in the near future that we can't really delve into just yet. But I serve as the head of corporate affairs for Next Media, and today, though, I'm here more on my end of the Kyadondo end of things, as a recently elected executive committee member at Kyadondo Rugby Club, but especially as a member of the local organizing committee for the Kyadondo Sevens. So yes, excited.
Okay. We are looking forward to when Next Media is going to give us that call and see how we can work together with the Fat Cats podcast. At the end of the day, what we want is sport to win. We want rugby to win, but I'm
glad that those hopes are still on, because sometimes they change. But yes, it's a game of time. It's a game of things. At least one thing I know for sure is that there is interest on both ends. So it's a matter of finding the right timing, and I think it will definitely happen.
Okay, we're definitely going to come back to a lot of things, and maybe just now to introduce some of the guests on my right, starting with Sarah Nakafeero. Jebali ko. Podcast here for Wadojiraba.
Olumu badde manyimu omuntu omu.
Obadde omanyimu muntu ki?
Nuli ali ku kamera.
Ali mabega ku kamera. Omanyi kyogamba ffe tetukoze mulimu guli awo kutumanya.
Ekyo naye nyinza okubasiba semberedde nnyo kubanga ye yali yankozeko interview.
Oyo tumumanya ino olugezigezi. Naye soko tunyumize. Kyekyakwaga Thunderbirds. Kulaba oyambadde jaze ya Thunderbirds mulimu Sevens zigenda maaso. Tubulire wayingira otya Thunderbirds, kyekyakwaga Thunderbirds ate Sevens zikugendedde zitya eno season.
Nze at first nga nkyali muto twali baneighbor ne Nakityo Asha sawa zino ali mu training ya Sevens sawa zino ya national team nga neighbor waffe kati nga buli waba agenda Kyadondo atuyita kati ewaka twaliwo basatu ebiseera ebyo n'abaganda bange abalongo kati nga buli weekend buli Saturday atwalako omu nga akyusa naye nze lwe yasooka okuntwala lwe nali sisomye
wadojinga klasi
nali njagala okugenda nga abaganda bange bannyumiza kati ne ngamba mami sigenda okusoma ngenda ne Asha kati we yantwala ne tutuuka nga bazanya ttaaga naye omala ozanya ttaaga babawa amenvu chapati obuugi kati embeerawo ne ngamba nga buli weekend nemba sitaani yange mba njagala era bandeka nkaaba nekitwala ebbanga kati n'atandika nga atuleetera ne tujja ne tukyusanga naffe ne tukwata ku mupiira bwe ntyo bwe natandika okwagala rugby naye nga tetumanyi kwesaza kkubo kati nga Asha waba tagenda Kyadondo tuba tulina sigala waka kubanga bo bazadde baffe nga si bafaani era awalabira ddala ogw'omuzannyo mubi nnyo ne tugenda mpolampola nga tuzannya naye okusoma nga kuleeta obuzibu banaye. Saturday atisiko bateekayo pepa oba testi nga oba togikoze miggo nga obibalabalamu ndooginge bankube oba nobeerawo paka we nasaba ne bampandikira kusomerawo nga mmaze oyingira secondary ne bampandikira nga buli Saturday sisoma ngenda n'entraininga ne ntuuka ne baawo ne banziza mu Thunderbirds. Okwekoona biri byali byattaga nga binyuma naye ne tutandika okwekoona ng'osooka n'olaba ogukazi ogujja naye nga ko kyakugamba awo nga ko kyoneni gwe nsinga okwatagana naye nga kugamba oyo omulaba omusobola n'akuteeka mu kiri ogenda otuuka ku mukazi banaye n'omwewuubirako togenda wansi n'alwawo ogenda wansi n'amala ye ne yeetwala wansi ne weewaana nga kumbe ye yeetutte naye kati saawa zino asiti alina gwe ntya bonna be nali ntya nina be nali ntya nga muba ndibasanga n'obbasanga obisire kulu feeyi aba Avengers era wawo saketi gye twazanya ekyaddondo yali 15s feeyi nga buli wakwata omupiira ajja wendi nempita Yvonne ne mugamba buli omulaba nga ajja ngenda kudduka nveewo Yvonne nulumu nampaayo feeyi nankuba okutya ne kunzigwamu kati ne bwajja sikyamutyawo tuzanya ffena tuli bakazi tinaguma wali nali obwongo nga ndi mukali bagenda kunkuba naye kati sikyabitya.
Ate Sevens kati zo ziri zichezo eno season Thunderbirds emikisa gyayo oba ne game saketi ezibaddewo olabye zigenze zitya mu ntegeerayo.
Saketi ezibaddewo zo sofa ze twakazanya byo bibi nnyo naye nga ffe ng'abakazi kale waliwo challenges mu bulamu eziriwo nti eno wiiki omuntu agenda training ate eddaka aleme kubeerawo eddaka akugamba ate kati ngenze mu bino ate kiri kwegamba ebyokwekwasa ng'abakazi bingi ate n'ekirala ndowooza abamu abato abeera abibalaabalamu saawa zino eno abeere kuki abasoma kati season weba yakusoma kitegeeza ali off ate abamu amasomero gwe basomeramu sinti waliyo sports tebamutwala nga kikulu nnyo kati omwana n'agenda nadda nga we yakoma nga tannaddayo ku ssomero walina otandikira ate nga wagenda otandikira zeeyo nnyo emabega naye byonna tujja bitereeza kubanga kati saawa zino babatwala mu masomero agali mu sports ne babatwala ne basomera eyo ne bayambako kale ku bazadde kubanga nze wenna trainingirawo Asha we yatuukanga kituufu tusenguse nga tuzze kasokoso tuvuddeyo ekireka ng'ate sikyalina ngeri gye nsooka ate nninye ngende ekireka male ngende ekyaddondo awo nga nina okugenda naye ng'olumu maama akugamba leero transport wo simuyina genda mu kusomero naye nga nkaaba nenkaaba n'akugamba ne wookaaba ekituufu nze akugambye nze amanye ekiri mu nsawo yange
wali wookaaba ng'olowooza transport ajja kulabika
ng'olowooza wookaaba ekisa kijja mukwata akuwa ogende naye nga we kiba kigaanya akugamba kituufu kigaanya naye oba naliko oba kiki oba rugby mulimu ki simanyi nga ntambula ebigere paka Kyadondo naye transport yakuzza tosobamu bula ng'otuusa eKyadondo tosobola kozi nga just goyina mpisa mbi naye tosobola ng'era olwana n'otuuka naye ati saawa zino simanyi nakumanya kyakwogera.
Anyway, introduction ebadde nnungi nnyo from Sarah, but Trevor,
yes,
I have seen you around. I have seen you with Rams. Where else did I see you? But now, you made that trip from Kyadondo. You first went away for some time. Then you came back. Finally, you came back home. It's something we were discussing on a previous podcast. Why is it that somehow Kyadondo players, when they go somewhere else, they always find themselves back at Kyadondo, players with a background from Kyadondo? But tell us, I want us to, at some point, to talk about Heathens and their form in the 7 series. But first, talk about your journey. When you now sit at a position where you can even get the opportunity to captain one of, if not the most successful club, because there's a debate from your very good rivals that they say they are the most successful. You guys say Mutubuza Buzate. Remember, we don't have proper records from our fathers. I don't want to mention their names, but yeah. So reflecting, tell us about your journey up to where you are now.
My journey started at Kyadondo early 2000s. I can't remember.
I'm going to need you to be a little more audible though.
Kale. My journey started at Kyadondo early 2000s, but I don't remember the year. I was very young. We used to stay in Nakafeero Estates, so we could just cross from Nakafeero Estates to Kyadondo every evening after school.
Yeah.
So we used to play with those of Liamo, Kafilipo, Korach. So we could play on the sidelines, that to try line box.
Yeah.
Without shirts, you would find us running around. They chase you, go back home, but tomorrow you're in the same place. So I started my rugby at Kyadondo. I was playing tag every Saturday morning with those of Christine Chizito, Marco, when they used to be our coaches. So from there, we got into rugby, slowly by slowly. And even we had an advantage of the schools we went to primary.
Yeah.
I remember I was in Buya Army. We used to have those of Philip Okra. They were in the upper classes as we were still down here. So we used to have like school teams coming from an area, coming from Nakawa, like used to. It gets to a point whereby you have a season like second term, because I remember second term there used to be like tag rugby tournaments every year. So you could be like, hey, I have to make the school team. So they used to give us the shirts,
yeah,
to represent your school, and those shirts could show like in the area you could be like only like 5 guys having them. So with time you got in love and you're like seeing the things that you're seeing your way where you're heading. So Kyadondo, slowly by slowly, in 2013 they promoted us to Tigers. We went to Tigers. The late coach Sogi, he was our coach in Tigers. So we started with him. He coached us. Then I think he went to Heathens. He started coaching Heathens. We were in Tigers. He coached us even as Umani. I played in Tigers. After Tigers, I didn't play for Stallions. After Tigers, I crossed. Then actually, I was playing for the school at the same time. So after school, things happened like that. I took some time off, then joined box. I think only sevens. I played only sevens. I left box. Lumu called me to Rams. So I think that was around 2016-15. I joined Rams. I played for Rams in 2018. I won a couple of trophies in Rams. I think starting with one circuit. We won a circuit at Makerere.
Yeah.
Sevens. We played some Uganda Cup Shield. Actually, I won like 4 Shield Uganda Cups, but they never used to give medals back then.
Yeah.
I think I only have 1 medal of that. So after that, I played sevens for Rams. I think it was in 2017. 2017, I played at, it was a 7 circuit at Kyadondo, where Michael Korach saw me, then invited me to join Heathens. That's the time I joined Heathens. I joined Heathens in the Uganda Cup. We never won the Uganda Cup, but the league of 2019-2020, 2018-2019. Yeah, that was my first league, and we won immediately. My first year in Heathens, we won the first trophy. Ever since, I've been winning with Heathens up to now. Right now, speaking about being a captain, yeah, it's something challenging, but I have to move with it.
Especially when some of the players you're captaining are even older than you. They have like double your caps. How do you tell them that, yo, listen?
I think that starts with your player. You need to respect each other.
Yeah.
The way you take a player is the way I'm going to. The way you take me is the way I'm going to take you. So the whole point is, if you don't respect me, I don't respect you, and me, I respect everyone. So when I talk to them, they listen. It's very easy.
Okay.
Because these guys, they're like, I would say what? like an inspiration. Because you look at a guy like Sebuliva, those of Chris Lubanga, when you're on pitch with them, these guys have played for some time. So when he tells you something, even as a captain, when he tells you something, you're learning from them.
Yeah.
So I also listen to them, and when I talk to them, they also listen to me. So it's very easy. When I say this, they move with me. So it's very easy.
Okay. I see you're donning the latest platinum credit Heathens jersey, but not many get that opportunity to wear that jersey. Tell us how it feels, especially now from Rams on your return back to Heathens. How did it feel putting on that jersey? The expectation, the fans, Kyadondo, and the whole atmosphere. How does it feel?
Yes. Heathens has been my dream team since day one. Because I remember I used to be water boys. You could travel with them and then feel the vibe. You could feel the vibe like all the time. You could travel with the big guys, and I remember those days of Yellow Capiata, MTN. When you travel with them, like they could bring band, band marching to legends, playing cops. You guys are marching at the back there, and you're like, we should play for this team. When are we getting here? So putting on this jersey, it's something that I've been waiting for so long, and right now I can say that I'm even more proud of myself becoming the captain, because it really shows a lot.
Okay. Well, before we really get into more, we are at the Fred and Winnie B&B. We had taken a little journey to the Excelsis Gardens Hotel, but as they say, home is always best. We are back home. And why I want to talk about the Fred and Winnie B&B this time around is because of the feedback we are getting from so many of the guests that have been around. July getting into August. One of the things I've really loved the most is the braai machine. And also, on top of that, they really, really love the chef, the standby chef. But of course, on top of that, there are always the rooms and everything else. So, you can always book courtesy of the Fat Cats. What you simply have to do is let them know that you have you booking and that you have been sent by the Fat Cats, and you will be able to get wonderful discounts. And this is the number you should call, 0778-933-559. And you will get all the discounts. Please take time and enjoy yourself and get a getaway so that you relax from all the hassles and bustles of life. Desire.
Yep.
So just picking up from what he was saying.
Yeah.
Back then, actually, the first time we had it was with Edwin. We were talking to Michael Okorach when we had him on the podcast, and he told us about the band that used to come. What happened? What are you guys doing to revive such things? Maybe those are the things that you need to bring back that culture and everything.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful headache, and I have been lucky enough to sit around circles where conversations like these have been had.
Yeah.
And many times when you get to a new space, you feel like you have great ideas. Let's do this. Until, of course, you sit down with people and you hear the actual stories of what they've managed to get to do around the club. And you realize, you know what, these are actually great things that have already happened at this club. Yeah. How do we make them better? I think I would be speaking for everyone when I state that we are the first to realize where we are. And it really is a case of the new world order without really speaking to what it meant when it was first stated. Okay. But times are changing, and they're changing drastically. There are things that worked before that can't exactly work today. The world is much more digitized. How we approach and acquire and convert funds is different. How we get to deal with players. Before, you expected Trevor to know that this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. Sarah would know this is, I've joined the club. Now, the edges have changed, and that is also very true for us at the Heathens. Yeah. Of course, there is and it's a huge misconception. Someday we can get to discuss it about the team being old. It's actually very, very young boys who are millennials. Many of them are Gen Zs, and we have found that how we approached the guys from the older generation doesn't exactly work with the current ones. And the more you try and force it on Trevor and his crop, these are 25, 24-year-olds and below, many of them. So you will find that the older players will understand what is on the table, but Trevor and his class might not. Maybe some of them have been around the older players enough, and they understand, what it takes to play for the Heathens and all of that. But you have to approach it differently for the younger players. So it's a process of learning. But I am glad that I think the most important thing with Kyadondo is that it is recognized and it has been acted upon. And sometimes we've gotten a few issues here and there. A few of them have come out publicly. Others have stayed within us. But you only have these issues happening when you are trying to do something. So I'm glad that in the overall we are doing something, and we are going to be getting there. There's just so much that these players deserve that we need to bring to them. The days where someone played and went home hungry, but because they won a game for the Heathens, are way gone now. The demands are different, and it is not just the Heathens; it's the Buffaloes, it is the Thunderbirds. It's a unique model that we run. We have 6 clubs competing, and that is just 6 entities. There is programs like he's speaking about, the tag rugby, that have brought both of them into the game. There is the community outreach. There's so many things going on pretty much at once. Of course, you saw our Kyadondo under 15. So we have the age grade that is also coming through. And all of them are active at particular levels. So there is a whole lot of work going on. It might not be the band again, but there are great things that we are planning for the team. And I think also the lead up to the Kyadondo Sevens will communicate a little bit of what is capable. I'm sure there are a couple of things that the Heathens, who are the hosts of this Kyadondo Sevens, are doing that maybe last year was not expected of us, but they are happening. And it really is a journey that we keep improving. And yes, we will go back to those levels, probably in a different way. But again, we look at ourselves as trailblazers. We look at ourselves as people who do what is usually expected or seen as unexpected, and then it will be seen across the league. So when we see people do things that we tried, and many times the beauty about it is that when the other teams do them or the other entities do them, they will do them better than we did them.
Yeah.
And that will also, and I'm lucky that I am happy to see that when we sit at the table, we're like, oh, those guys did it. I know we did it, but they did it better. So how can we improve it? And it only improves the game at the end of the day. So yes, we are at it and we are working.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've appreciated about this year's Nile Special Sevens has been the healthy competition around the different clubs and the different grounds on how to organize a better event. Luckily enough, we're having 2-day all-through competitions, all through the 7 circuits. We've so far had 4 down. So talking to you about the Kyadondo Sevens, did preparations start just after the Toro Sevens, or is it something that has been cooking from way back? What can you tell us? How has it been so far, and what's the plan?
Way before the Toro Sevens, the conversations were on. I know, for example, the local organizing committee, our committee had already been formed. And for us, it's one of those things that we do every year. We'll get into the history of the Kyadondo Sevens. It is one of those things that it's not. I wouldn't call it the legacy program, because what the union is referring to as the legacy program is something different. But for us, it's an event. It's an annual event as Kyadondo. One of our teams, as a standard, has got to host the circuit. In there, last year we had the Buffaloes. This year we have the Platinum Credit Heathens. So it was there, and it also explains, because when we were at the press conference to launch the Kyadondo Sevens yesterday, the Uganda Rugby Union CEO pointed out something that was fairly interesting, that the first bid they received was the Kyadondo bid. And it was accepted, also based on what we can do and all of that. So it is that important. And many of the things that we are doing now are things that were in our bid document. So it has not been a lot of, let's try this, let's try that, and all of that. It is a conversation that the team then had already sat down and stated, this is what we want to do, and this is what we're going to put. Because at that point, you know how marketing works. You are proposing and all of that. So you want to put your best foot forward. And what we are executing now is what we put in that bid many months ago. Of course, there will be a couple of things that you will feel, okay, we could add this for the fans, for the player experience and all of that. But it really is just that. We are just, it's a preparation that we've had going on for months. The real work started a couple of weeks before Toro Sevens.
Okay, that's interesting. Just jumping to you, Trevor. Now let's talk a little bit about Heathens. Heathens has been hot and cold this season. Of course, unfortunately, you had a few injuries, especially most notably Claude Tema in Kitgum, and then also Aaron Ofoeroth in Ginger. but you did, luckily enough, get to win a circuit in Boyogere, Rujumba Sevens, which for some reason Pirates always finds a challenge winning. They can easily even win at Twickenham, but they will not win at Rujumba. However, you followed that up in Toro with not, I want to call it, for lack of a better word, lackluster performance. What do you have to say about what's going on in the Heathens camp right now?
It's quite challenging at the moment.
Yeah,
it's a team of young players, and I believe you all see that our team is very young. So I would say some guys it's their first time playing the sevens, because it's even challenging because some guys are used to playing day one. So these are young players from Stallions. They are just getting used to the day two, and the senior guys are pulling out. It's more of a young team, so it's very challenging. At Kings Park, I think we came at Kings Park. We knew what we wanted.
Yeah,
and we won it. It's not. I don't believe that there is being lucky on pitch.
Yeah,
you have to earn everything. So we went to Fort. Fort didn't go well for us, and that's something that we don't attend like to do as a player, because these things happen and no one was happy. Even us ourselves went back to the team, and you're like, man, it really hurts, yeah. Seeing a team like Heathens, even you as a player, it hits deep, because this is not something that I'm going to come and explain to a fan and someone will understand.
Yeah.
Even me, I'll be having my own pain as a person. So when someone comes towards me, maybe I'll back at you. So these are things that really happen, and people do need to know how to approach. But it goes to us players. We need to put our bodies on the line and put in more works to avoid things like this.
Okay. Are you? We have had a few incidences there that have been talked about. Are you currently happy with the refereeing standards in the sevens?
I would say I'm happy, but
You're happy?
Not at that extent.
Okay.
Because they are really trying their level best. But I'm happy to a point whereby there are a few refs that you need to talk to. Not all of them are bad referees, because people by the end of the day, me I won't go after losing a game. I won't go out and then start bragging because of the ref. The ref doesn't play with you. It's you on pitch, and you should know what you want before the ref comes on to ref.
Yeah. So
as a player, you should go on pitch like thinking, because the ref by the end of the day, even if you shout, even if you do what, it doesn't change any cause. So me as a person, I never complain about the refs. My work is to play rugby. That's all I do.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Sarah, Black Pearls bafuukidde ekizibu. Black Pearls erese obuzibu banaye Thunderbirds muyina plan ki kati nga we tugenda Kyadondo muli waka abawagizi bammwe buli omu agenda kubeerawo kiki mugenda okukola waakiri ewammwe muwangule ne bwe bawangula overall naye nga still ndowooza musobola okuwemba mukoze ekintu ne muba emuwangula eziddako wayinza okubeerawo chance y'omu math okubakwata naye nze kyembadde mbuuza ewaka nga kati omuntu wa sports towetera kwetaaga kubeeraawo ng'ate oluzingirewo abantu bo we bakulabira mugenda kukola ki naddala of course waliwo ne Avengers naye nga Black Pearls bwe bali ku ntikko mugenda kukola ki okulaba mbu at least muba mubakuba Kyadondo?
Black Pearls si tiimu etiisa
naye kiki kyo kye bakola ekyenjawulo?
Tewali kyanjawulo kye bakola kye tutasobola kukola. Bakazi naffe tuli bakazi. Naye ebiseera ebisinga ffe ng'abazannyi tutuula mu team talks ne twogera, oli n'ayogera kiti n'ayogera kiri, tulina zannya bwettu, oli nti ninakola bwe nti kochi n'akugamba kati ku luli wazannya bw'oti wano wakolamu bubi kati kyusamu okole bw'oti. Naye omutuuka ku kisaawe baaba bintu ne bikyuka, ndowooza buli omu ne yeekolerayo amateeka ge ng'alina otutambulirako. Naye nga okusinziira si ye ttiimu eyandibadde etukuba, tekuli ttiimu etusobola. Training tebadde mbi, just turn up y'abakazi eri so down. Abamu nti ninayo abaana, abamu obwo obudde bwe tutrainingiramu simanga ngenda bate enfumbira ate waka biki byowe bitowe bito kale naye nga si ensonga y'olunaku tutraininze ne twetegeka buli omu ensobi ze zimugambiddwa naye kidda gye tulife ng'abazannyi oli okwetereeza kubanga kooki ogugwa gukola n'abakookinga n'akubuulira ensobi zo n'abataba ku kisaawe era ne wabagamba kati tuyise move eno mu training wali ku kisaawe oli waddembe okugamba nti tetugenda gikozesa nga mmwe mulabye nti tuyinayitira wano kyekiyinza tuyisaawo kiri ekyakko kisaawa zino tekikola
game situation
n'ekirala okwekkiririzaamu kutono tuyinamu bali oli tuzanya kale n'abazanya edda kituufu waliwo obeera mu geemu nga abo abakulu alina okupushinga naye yo pressure ebeerawo empushinga ejja mu ngeri etali nnungi kituufu naawe n'ovaako oyinza okukola awo ensobi n'ava eri n'akugamba baaba kyokoze tukiddamu biki nga omanyi nti ebya pressure kubanga ffenna tetubeerangako toyingirangako ku kisaawe ng'ogamba nyingidde bankube kyo tekiriiyo naye nga tubasuubiza tugenda tereeza
ekyo kirungi era kyembadde njala okubuuza ekirala kati nga wetunyumiza ngeri gye watandikamu nga olina okulinda oba mami akuwa transport naye kati sooka otugulire rugby kiki ekirungi gwe kyolaba kyofunyeemu
rugby essaawa zino mwe muli ampeerera somera MTAC Nakawa nkola accounting and finance certificate
kyekyo kirungi
ndigenda mu second semester naye rugby alimu ebirungi bingi just kugumiikiriza nakwewaayo kubanga nze mama yali yaŋŋamba kite sirabayo future ng'ekituufu banzija mutaaga ne bateeka mu Thunderbirds naye ndabika natwala kumpi omwaka mulamba nga sirinya ku kisaawe nti nzannya naye nga
oleeta amazzi
nsitulewo basitulirako ensawo biki ebyo naye nga ku training zigenda owera saa 10 mba natuuse dda zaabeerawo ndeesa emipiira buli kimu naye nga kochi akugamba tonnatuuka waliwo enkwagala ng'era abaakulaba mu training nti bagenda bagabanya muli ba ttiimu emu naye ng'era mu banno oyinamu bootya ne ntandika mpolampola ng'akuteekamu eddakiika emu n'olozaako bootyo paka kati we natuuka nga ndi ku starting team
kati mami yali muwagizi wa rugby kati abirabamu ebirungi oba still akyalaba ne ogwo omuzannyo ogwo
kati mami yetasobola kujja ku kisaawe nti alabe kubanga omulundi gwe yajja bankuba n'aleekaana n'atambula n'afuluma okudde waka yaŋŋamba kimugenda obeere ne Asha oba okyazanya rugby beera ne Asha omuvaamu okomewo waka naye essaawa zino era munyumiza kubanga ye tasobola kujja biraba engeri kale ye omutima gwe aba tajja kugumiikiriza biraba ebyo naye ebirungi mu ebyera atuuka n'akugamba weebale gumiikiriza gwe kye wali oyagala mu maaso gwe wabaala ebintu byo yadde nze nalinga nkugamba tojja sobola kola booti kubanga kati ssaawa zino ekituufu natawaanyizibwa nnyo mu kusoma n'empummula ebbanga ddene olw'embeera ya ssente waka muliwo bangi kati ye ng'akugamba gweoba otuuseeko wano eka ne muto waakole ki naye atuukewo wooli awo chansi we yajjira ne bambuuza oyagala okusoma omukyala naye yali mu Thunderbirds lwakuba kati takyazannya ware ye yambuuza nambuuza oyagala soma ki nembimunnyonnyola kubanga nali ndi mu kwagala nzireyo nkole 5 ne 6 naye we naddayo ku ssomero nga amateeka ge bali mu kuŋŋamba nga essomero babikyusiza nenjukira mbaddeko eno wabweru kati nga mbibalaabalamu nendaba nga kiganya era nenzirayo ne munnyonnyola obuzibu bwange naŋŋamba tewali buzibu genda kwali kwemutaaka olabe waabawo ky'osobola okukola oyogere nange oŋŋambe bwe ntyo we natandika kati nsoma mpaka saazi
So, Desire, one of the things that I know about Kyadondo, and I think wherever, the problem is there's a video I was looking for, but it got lost. There's a time we were at Africa Sevens, and then Uganda was beating people on day 2.
Yeah.
Edwin, I don't know if it was the Nile special or what, Edwin cried. Tears of joy, I don't know where the emotions came from. We just saw the man, crying while drinking an Nile special. Maybe the Nile special was just very, very nice for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, that has ideally, I think I share a mutual opinion with Edwin when it comes to one of my, if not my best tournament, the Africa Sevens.
Yeah.
Now, people are going to come with that mindset for Kyadondo Sevens that, you know what, this is the vibe we expect. And usually, the beauty about Sevens is festival rugby. It's you go somewhere, 2 days of enjoyment, fun park and everything. Tell us about entertainment that's going to be at Kyadondo. I mean, yesterday on the space, Edwin was talking to some people and there were some hints about alien skin. I don't know how true that is, but maybe you can confirm for us whatever is going to be there so that people can come knowing whether they can start saving their money.
First, I will break your hearts that we have not been successful on that one. It was the plan, and it looked very achievable. But we've been informed that the gentleman is booked out. He's one of the most popular artists at the moment. So he's booked out for the weekend, unfortunately. But we're working with our very, and they've not just been partners, they've been very collaborative partners now, special. To line up a different artist that will be coming through. So yes, the DJs and the MCs will be there, but we are working towards also having an artist getting to join that particular party. But over and above that, the fun experience is one of the things that we have put central to our organization as far as this event is concerned. So yes, the setup will be similar, not the same, similar to what you had for the Africa Sevens. So yes, we are still going out with our carnival festival kind of thing going on. We have our usually what is the ordinary parking. Do you understand what I mean by the ordinary parking when I refer to Kyadondo?
Yeah.
Usually the parking that is on your left when you drive in,
when you just
walk
driven in. Yeah.
So there's no cars that will be parked there. That is all a food court up until the entry, and it's a wide range of things, including some of our partners that I will be speaking on, if allowed, who will also be presented there. Of course, the fun area, we have the teams that will be sitting behind that try area that is, of course, towards the entrance. The teams will be sitting about that area. The ordinary, which should be the most fun one. I mean, if you see the fans from Kyadondo going around, now we are setting up something like that. All those stands opposite the clubhouse.
Yeah, there's usually that it's a tricky situation when you go to Kyadondo and then there's ordinary, VIP, then VVIP. Okay, at least we know where VVIP can reach. Yeah. But then there's a confusion usually between VIP and ordinary.
Yeah, so that has been planned out. So the VIP setup is going to be at the clubhouse on the ground floor.
Okay.
Facing the pitch.
Okay.
So whatever is sheltered space that you know at Kyadondo that is on the ground floor facing the pitch is the VIP area. It's going to be set up differently, so it will be well set apart. The VVIP, of course, will be upstairs where we shall have our invited guests, quite a number of VIPs. Our club members, they will be there, as well as, of course, some limited slots for the VVIP in there, where, of course, our friends from Gaucho Grill are joining us to supply meals. Our friends from Now Special are also working with us to ensure that whoever is in the VVIP. So if you're in the VVIP, you have lunch, a meal from Gaucho Grill. You do have a couple of Nile Breweries drinks, as well as a soft drink, assured. And that is for that 50K. So you can see that is very well spent money already.
Value for money, definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what we are going for on this one. So the fun experience, we want everyone to have a good time when they come through. And we are very strict on the numbers, because we don't want to end up with areas that are overloaded. That is even for the ordinary, even for the VIP, even for the VVIP. Then, of course, the VIP is the 30K. The VVIP for those that will have access to tickets, and those will be, of course, better bought ahead of time. Get in touch with us through our socials and all of those. Then the VIP will be 30K, a couple of, generally everything but the meal you will get as far as VIP. Okay. The VIP is where the meal is, and of course the ambience and everything. And then of course there will be the 10K for the general. And for the general, of course, we have the free Wi-Fi coming in from Sprint UG. So everybody has Wi-Fi to use on the day. We do have a couple of tickets from our new partners that are coming into rugby for the first time, Century Cinemax. They're joining us, and they will be starting off with this Kyadondo Sevens. We have up to 30 movie tickets to be won over the 2 days for the different people. Our people from Gaucho Grill are not stopping at serving our people upstairs. We've asked them to come up with a special menu. Of course, we know how premium their meals are at their venue, but they're coming up with 30K menus of some of their best stuff that the revelers can get to take part in and get to experience that. But over and above, one of their most popular offerings, Gaucho Grill, is the Rodizio, which is eat till you drop. Usually you would have to pay about 80K to have that. So we'll have 10 treats to that effect over the 2 days. 5 will be for Saturday, 5 will be for Sunday. A couple of challenges will be done at the pitch because we want to limit this to the people who are actually at the game. So there is a lot of freebies.
It's not for purchasing, it's for challenge.
It's for winning. It's for winning. It will be free. We'll have a few challenges, few fun challenges.
What you missed seeing is when you talked about the eat till you drop.
Yes.
Senyimba in the background was very, very excited. Then you talked about challenges. I was like,
no, they will be fun, and they're not necessarily all about the physicals of rugby and all of that. We'll mix it up, but just know that even the winning will be fun, whether you win it or not, and all of that. But there will be something for pretty much everyone, and we are hoping, again, the fun experience is what is going to take the lead. When you go over to the food court, I've told you about the Gaucho Grill. We have quite a number of people. You know, Yalelos have joined us at Kyadondo. That's there. Our popular meats, our range of meats will be, of course, on offer. A couple of other people, burgers and all of that. So it's a proper food court that will have the full experience, and that is something that we are going to be leading with. And we are confident that we'll have ourselves a great event. The security is something that we've also put together and are serious about. So there is that space right after Kyadondo as you drive towards Vision Group, maybe at the traffic lights to the left. Yeah, that is where our parking will be for what would have usually been what is going to be the food court now. It will be there. We have more right after Total. Former for Roth home as you come down there. Yes, there will be more parking around those areas and all of those. And all of those are going to be manned by Uganda Police Security. We have our friends from KK also joining us and all of that. There is just quite a bit. Our socials and our media program will continue to share with you what we have on board. But yes, we are excited for a great weekend. We don't usually go for one circuit, for doing a circuit. We go for doing the best circuit. There is how we succeed at that is what we wait on a little bit later. Oh, very importantly, a very popular thing that has been at all circuits, at the many circuits, I think all circuits, has been that FlexiPay hour. Yes, please. My apologies, but I guess it is saving the best for last. It will be there on both days between 1 and 2 p.m. And for those of you that are watching this for the first time, I've had a couple of friends who have never watched rugby. They see all my pictures and everything, who have asked me, are you serious? A beer is 2K. I'm like, fam, when did you start caring about a 2K beer? So yes, when it happens, we are telling you that for 10K, you will have yourself 5 beers in that happy hour, which technically means that a crate of beer is 40,000. Yeah, so it's up to you. It is up to you. All you have to do is pay through FlexiPay.
You know, one of the funniest things that happened to Kyadondo Sevens when they announced that offer, there were guys from outside that had also prepared coming to use FlexiPay or Kusubura. They wanted to get and take to their shops. They didn't allow them. They told them this beer is strictly for the experience. But people had seriously come in with millions to clear out.
That would not have been good for the rugby fans, because then suddenly you're going to walk up and there's no beer to buy.
Yeah, but definitely, I hope Edwin and Dexter of the Fat Cats, I hope our coolers are ready. Because as was the norm at Rujumba, Kyadondo has to follow suit. I hope they'll allow our coolers to enter, though.
Oh yeah, it's a festival. What is a festival without cooler boxes and everything that we are offering? Yeah. But also on the technical end of things, I think there is quite a bit that we are offering for the players. Our friends from AAR coming through to offer with to put together the medical and all of that. Have been very, very helpful to put that together. But of course, we are also working around ice baths for the different teams.
Yeah, that's good for
it's a tricky situation. Today it's very, very hot. The next day it is raining. We shall also deal with the rain. Let it not joke with us. We can be dangerous. But what we are saying is that for the heat, also for the players, we are ensuring that they have as good an experience as possible. So yes, that is those are some of the things that we are adding to that. But again, we are going to be sharing much more on this as it goes. At the end of the day, Kyadondo is home, so we will be doing our very best to ensure that that translates.
Yeah, Trevor, as we start to close, I just want to ask you, you've told us about your ambition and how you enjoy really playing for the Heathens and what it means to you. But now, what are your ambitions? I know there have been a lot of Sevens call-ups. Do you also have an eye on the Sevens, or are you really thinking about 15s? Because you're a pretty good fullback when it comes to the 15 setup of the game. So I don't know, where do your ambitions lie? Are you flexible? Well, tell us more.
I'm flexible. That's the reason I'm the Sevens captain right now. So I can play anywhere. So either Sevens or 15s, I'm there.
Okay. What would you prefer?
Both. Yes.
Very, very political answer. You're a typical leader. Yeah. Sarah, kati njagala nkubuuzeeko. Onansonyiwa saakozeeko ka research. Omanyi batugamba mukole ku research. Naye oweraba okubeera ku national team. Oyagala kubeerawo ko naawe olinye ku nnyonyi ogende gundi oli obumere nga butini bwe bati nga bwe mugenda okuzannya.
Ne last year nali ku national team naye ya 15s.
Ya 15s, ya 7s tonaba kubaako ate nga waliyo emizannyo eno.
Sinaba kubeerako naye nga nsobola obeerako.
Ochalowooza you have a chance eyo okubeerayo.
Sirowooza naye anytime ne baŋŋamba leero nti jangu tutandike training.
Naye nga fitness kweri.
Kwendinze.
Kati nekirala njagala okubuuza kikyolabye mazima gwe ekikuluma mu rugby mu bakazi kyolowooza mbu basobola okwongera okubayambamu, n'ekyokubiri engeri ki gyolowooza mbu sport ya rugby mu bakazi basobola okujambusa okubeera ku level kumpi ng'ey'abasajja oba n'okubasinga?
Rugby w'abakazi ali wansi nnyo nti ne wetuba tuzannya nga kati nga sawa zino circuit ze tulimu nti tuli mixed up. Omba muzanya kuddako abakazi oyinza okuwulira ne ba fans nga baga kati abakazi be baddako ne badde eri mu biboozi byabwe nga tebatulinaako kugamba kale support ntono. Naye ndaba kale bali mu kikolako kubanga era be batuukidde tuteekawo n'abasajja nti at least era oli tajja kunyumya nnyo aleme tutunulayooko. Yabba atunula era ajja tukaga gundi namulabye era againinga yo interest agambe nti abakazi bagenda zanya bagenda wa nti bali Kyadondo najja nga emiyaga mbuba ngenda kulaba oba Sarah Nakafeero nga azanya kuli lyanzanira bulungi kale nagenda nga afuneyo interest n'ekirala eri engombe eveewo kubanga omuzannyo buli omu ne bafans oli atuula eri nga alaba nze kubanga nina abambuuza walunoonya ki mwogwo omuzannyo babeera beekoona mwegwira kale kwegamba abamu tebalina eyo clarification ey'emizannyo gyaffe nti kibadde kyetaaga kale webaba baturekodinze nti oba kale tuli live bu video busigaleyo oba simanyi ngeri gye kiinakolebwa mu butambule nti n'omukazi ali eyo yandiyagadde. One time wanda ayinza olaba ku video n'agamba olaba n'ono gy'ali nange mba nsobola. Naye kati saawa zino ekituufu abasajja be baliko nti games zaabwe n'ogenda ku YouTube okuggyako nga kikuli mu bwongo nti nnoonya gemu y'abakazi yazanyibwa mu mwaka bwe guti nga bagiyita bwe bati. ekyo kyoba osobola okifuna naye ez'abasajja otekamu rugby kizibu olaba abakazi ng'oli mu kulaba bansi ndala abazunguzungu bikyabo ezo zangu naye Uganda kati nze mama yaŋŋamba buli waasakinga ye alaba eya Uganda alabako Uganda Zimbabwe yali ekyaddondo yokka era yagamba gemu endala nga siziraba alaba eyo mpoziko neno eza last year we nalimu nze kenyini na making sure musindikira link eyo paka kati era nange kenyini nzirawo nenjirawo kubanga ndabika nze yali asinzo sanyuka mube bayita nze yali asinzo sanyuka era nga buli ekituukawo nina okukubira mami ne mugamba kati tukola bwe tuti kati batugambe tuwumulemu kati twasuze wano nga ndaba ensi yange kwegamba kale baana bangi abaagala ne mu masomero ebyabawala byetaaga kale kiba hard kubanga kati oli akitwala nze ndi sireya n'alabya ddala nga okuddawo yeekoonekone bo bakitwala nti muzannyo mubi kale akulaga kagende mu football nga tazannye rugby naye nga we tunakiteekawo ne kitambula mu masomero abawala bajja kujja abakazi gye bali abaagala ozannya just tebannafuna ndowooza muntu gwe batuukirira obulungi
kituufu kyoyogedde. So Desire, she mentioned one thing that was very, very key. Broadcasting the games or streaming the games, depending on what platform is being used.
Yeah.
I know you're putting on a different hat today, but do you perhaps have any confirmations for us on who will be streaming? I know we have had a bit of a debate during the course of the week. Is it going to be Kawo? Is it going to be NBS, or is it going to be Afro Mobile? So any confirmations for who's going to really have the direct mantle for broadcasting at Kyadondo?
Well, how it has worked is that, again, as we continue to build this relationship, as we continue to face and address the challenges that come with a sport, and I think it's very key for us to understand that it's a sport that has committed rights prior to television. Usually you have television and then a sponsor comes on board well knowing that there is this and all of that. So we have to appreciate that we are going through a unique situation where a sport had a flagship sponsor before it got a television broadcast partner. So there is already something that happened before the other that shouldn't have happened before the other. And that's exactly what the general manager was pointing out and stating, that we are going to gradually grow together and we shall go through these challenges. Of course, they also know that it's PR hurting sometimes and all of that, but it's a sacrifice that you made and you're committed to, and you'll get through that. So there have been challenges that, of course, have come through in terms of commitments, the limitation that we have with how far we can go to speak to whoever to enable us to, put on the big budget broadcasts that we want to, and that we are known by, that we are not going to what is that, compromise on, because again, that is exactly what you promised to bring to the game. But yes, NBS Sport will be coming through on this particular one, and again, every single time you see, and maybe we could have done a better communication job on some of these broadcasts and all of that, and yes, we are taking the feedback and we are seeing that. Every time the action is on television, it's definitely on Afro Mobile. And what we are saying is, and I've seen from the feedback that we've been studying, a couple of people say, no, rugby has now been put in like a small screen and all of that. And I totally understand where you're coming from, but it's a point of information that when you read that smaller screen, and maybe we also have to adjust a little bit, a little bit of our executions. When you see that small screen, it's also telling you where that where that action is. So it's more like, this is what is coming up. Sometimes it's not, the window is telling you this is what is coming up. But many times, especially in the rugby situation when we are broadcasting, it is telling you which channel on Afro Mobile you can find it, or maybe even which channel on the television set. So yes, there are going to be events sometimes that are also on the same station, that are also sports, and you are championing Ugandan sport, and that window is to tell you, just read it. It is to tell you which channel the actual game is. It's not that we are broadcasting the game on a bigger screen, and so you need to watch rugby in the smaller screen. No, the smaller screen is communicating to you where you can go. And we are saying that every time you see that, at least for now, unless we communicate otherwise, usually when we put that screen, we are telling you that it's on our other channel, which is NBS Live, which we have put aside for incidences like these, for any of our stations. Sometimes it's a broadcast of a press conference like we saw with FDC at one place, but there is a concurrent press conference elsewhere. We send that content to NBS Live for you to be able to follow that if that's what you prefer. And sometimes there will be maybe a link from another sports event that we are also maybe sponsoring or supporting in one way or the other. Yeah. When you see that screen, what we are saying is it's going to be on NBS, it is on NBS Live. So tune in onto that. And yeah, we'll make all those communications. Now, of course, is the time that the team goes back and states which sports activities across the country this weekend, where will it be? But yes, NBS Sport will be covering it. Yeah.
Any last things you'd like to mention in regards to the Kyadondo Sevens? Maybe something you missed out, maybe something you believe people ought to know?
Yeah, it really is our campaign. Kyadondo is home. I would just want to just speak to that. It's not just a hashtag. It's not just us coming out to state that, oh, we are the home of Ugandan rugby and all of that. What we are really just saying is, as an executive committee, we've also sat over time and we've realized that there are a couple of things that are spoken of us on the Twitter spaces, on the timelines, in social circles that are not true, that are not what Kyadondo is about. I've seen people sit down and say, look at those Kyadondo guys. That's why Budo guys or Namilyango guys never go there or anything like that. But we are a community club. That is what our model is. If we all went one direction, we probably wouldn't have seen Trevor Ochan. You've heard what his story is on this particular podcast. We've focused and our history has been benchmarked on history. She's another one who just told you that she couldn't cross the road. And that is who we are. That is who we pride ourselves in. And we know for sure that there are young boys like Trevor and many others that he leads at the club that would probably never have had a chance at rugby if Kyadondo was not Kyadondo. Because again, many people are going to come out and say that Kyadondo, that rugby game is for Bazungu and everything. And we're saying we are here to own our narrative. For us, this is the start of that journey. We are going to speak out more. It might not be controversial and everything. We believe we have a very rich story that we are going to be telling you more of. We want Trevor to share with you why Kyadondo is home to you, to him, and factors of that will explain what our story is. We want you to know why age grade happens the way it does, why Coach Sky and Coach Evelyn and the Coach Sissis who were there before hold tag rugby every Saturday morning, and it is free of charge. It's not like they're silly, they don't know that they can make money from it or anything. There is a reason as to why it is free and all of that. We want to tell our story more and have as many corporate companies come on board and join us. Our dream is, how does Sarah here, how does Trevor here wake up one morning and say, my job is rugby? That is our big dream here. We've come out and we've stated that, you know what, why are we talking about most successful club in Uganda? It is clear, again, we've not won the Sevens since 2013, yet until today, for the Platinum Credit Heathens, they are the record champions on 11, the rest of the country on 10. Do we still want to be saying most successful club in Uganda based on these things, or is it about time we tap into East Africa and all of those? But all of that is going to start at the level of us owning our narrative, sharing with you who we are, being more intentional when you visit Kyadondo, whether for our meats or drinks or for the rugby, for you to know more about who we are. And, you know, you've come here, the secondary bit is this social life and everything. But primarily, there is a team that trains here. There is another one that trains here. We have the beautiful scenario where we have two senior men's sides who are not limited at who they can compete with or not. They can sign whoever they want. It's an interesting dynamic in its own. And again, Kyadondo is home. It's only because we are Kyadondo that we can manage to have a dynamic like that. You will find that in many other clubs, such a thing would only happen if there is one of you is a feeder side or something like that, or maybe if you're both not owned by the same entity and stuff like that. So there is so much that Kyadondo is. There is so much that there is a whole lot more reason than winning games for the Buffaloes, for the Heathens, for the Thunderbirds, for their feeder sides, that gets a team like the I'll give the example of the Platinum Credit Heathens, to have the team they had while going to Kitgum and still have probably the biggest chunk of players, of funds coming from Kampala, to still go and support that team.
Yeah.
While leaving their homes knowing that, you know what, we are leaving at 9 p.m. We're going to spend the night on the bus. We'll arrive in the morning. We'll watch the boys, well knowing they are not going to win, or they don't have a team good enough to win this weekend. But what is that reason that still gets these people to go there? Yeah. Especially when we support teams so we can win. So those are the stories that we want to bring out, and we want to share more of, take our narrative, and hopefully gain what these guys deserve now that they have grown up and been at this particular level. We have our challenges, but again, there is so much that we can do with the opportunities that come out of them.
Anyway, before I leave you, one last thing. We have been seeing a couple of things also coming from Kyadondo. I didn't want to put the players on the spot for this one, but
I think I know what that is.
The first one,
Yeah.
you know those part A, part B questions,
Yeah.
those ones in the exam, and you know part B, you don't know part A. yet the answer for part A is supposed to help you
In part B. Yeah.
But anyway, first we are seeing a separation in the fans club. We are seeing Heathens, and then Heathens the chest.
Yeah.
It has come to a point of where the Heathens fan zone is organizing and even having its own bus. Then the chest comes out and puts their own offer to travel somewhere for the same event at a discount of even less than what the fan zone has offered.
Yeah.
So, do you think this is something healthy for the club? How can this be? Is there any chance of peace talks? What's happening? What's going on there?
No, first and foremost, it is a consensus that we have over time reached. It's not healthy. And by healthy, this is if I'm speaking on the bit of, would you have wanted for this to be happening? We don't want for it to be happening.
Okay.
And that is something that we have to set out. There are a couple of people who have reached out and stated, why do you guys keep this thing happening and all of that? Why don't you just end it altogether? We want to. And we understand that our friends on the other end of this all also want to end it. The positive around it is that we still all support the same team, and that in one way or the other, we both invite our friends from outside rugby to come and join us in one way or the other, and the fan club grows even further. Some people will say there was a time whereby we filled a coaster and traveled to support the Heathens. Now we have a coaster and a bus. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Traveling to support the Heathens. At least that is the primary thing. But this is not to celebrate it. This is to also state that we understand the need for us to harmonize, to get together. But we have to understand where it all came from. It all came from a misunderstanding that occurred when we tried to do what we all believe is the right thing. And the right thing to go about it. And the moment when it happened, we didn't have a sponsor on board. The Platinum Credit Heathens were still our sleeve partners, not our anchor sponsors. And we felt that we needed to ensure that we found a sustainable way of supporting our club, because whether there is a sponsor or not, Trevor Ochan still wants to come in for training every single day. Sarah needs to come in for training every single day. And they need to be supported in one way or the other. Is it comfortable? No, but can they have something at least coming to them?
Yeah.
So we asked ourselves, how do we be able to do this? And we said, there is the membership club. Can we make efforts to have as many fans introduced to this platform as possible? We had an annual general meeting in 2022 where it was discussed. Of course, it's a new phenomenon. I'm being told I need to pay this amount of money, which is 250,000, at least the one that we were encouraging all of us to pay. But if you do not want to pay the 250,000, again, I think what has always happened is that we've always believed Kyadondo is home. Yeah. And it is through that we wanted to encourage everyone to pay, the 250,000, which is membership for Kyadondo. But should you feel like you can't go that far, or you are here only for the Platinum Credit Heathens or the Buffaloes or the Thunderbirds, just pay 50,000 for the fan club of your club. which was also the other bit.
Yeah.
So in the effort to do that, a couple of mistakes were made on both ends, and we have been able to say, you know what, the mistake was made on our end, there were mistakes on the other end. A couple of people who didn't understand exactly what it was on, what this was about. Some people who maybe stubbornly refused, but that is the very small percentage, and all of that, and others. And some things came out of that. But of course, these bad things, which we admit are bad things, come from an effort of trying to do something.
Yeah.
It is gradually going away, but we want it gone sooner than it is going. A big chunk of our friends on the other end are paying their membership, but maybe for social reasons prefer to be, in one end or the other. So our target, our biggest task at the moment among the executive committees, that is Kyadondo, as well as, of course, the Heathens Club itself, as well as the Heathens Fan Zone. So you can see those are three different excoms because of our unique model, are all working towards how can we engage. And over the last couple of weeks, I've seen more and more hope. So one day, I do believe, and I'm very hopeful, that we'll get to a point whereby we are one huge family. It will be huger, that I can assure you, will be huger than we were when this happened, and that we'll do great things. But at both ends of the coin, at the end of the day, no one is working to break down the team. They are bringing something on board as we organize all these other events and all that stuff. We are bringing something on board. The excoms are bringing something on board. We're still working towards the same thing, but there is a little divide that we don't want to be there. And yes, I will assure you that we are actively working towards that. It's just not one of those things that you wake up and say, let me go buy an hour special, and you'll have an hour special. It will have a process to it. It will have so many things to attend to. There are emotions involved. There are egos involved. It's important to realize that, but because they're involved, you need to find a way to go around them. So that's the challenge that the leadership has, as well as, of course, the rest of the fans. But for the players, for the fans, my assurance to all of you is that we are working towards that, and one day soon it will all be done.
Okay, that's great. And I know you're now in management with Kyadondo. I think without revealing a lot, I just want you to tell us about the leadership situation. There has been something going around on social media and in the news.
Yeah.
What's the status on that? Of course, for the well-wishers, stakeholders, and everyone that might be concerned or interested in what's happening at Kyadondo. Yeah.
So just for a bit of background to the situation is that Kyadondo Sports Club is a phenomenon that came up due to issues that we later, or the executive committee that was in before I joined this year, later found to have had some illegalities.
Okay.
So Kyadondo Rugby Club is a sports ground that was given a lease of 99 years in 2011 for sport.
Yeah.
However, there had been a lease prior to that expired. Now, at that particular point, the executive committee then were discussing how to have that lease renewed.
Yeah.
And in having that lease renewed, there were things being spoken of, a premium to pay so that this lease can be renewed and Kyadondo remains for sport and for everyone and all of that. That premium was quite expensive. From my understanding and gatherings, it was towards the billions of shillings. And so on that note, a couple of people worked among themselves to raise an amount of money to go ahead and acquire that lease. The challenge, however, arises that shortly after that lease has been gotten back, it is realized that this was a lease that was given on peppercorn or given for free. There is a claim, or there is a statement statements that have been risen in terms of we had to see a few people to get it, and that's where that money went. And what the team has since come out to state is, you know what? Okay, cool. You served the ground. We have it. We have a lease of 2019, starting 2012. The process started 2011, 2012. We got that lease starting 2012. For 99 years, we got the lease for Kyadondo Sports Club, Kyadondo Rugby Club. For those of you that managed to put that money together in that time, we thank you so much. Can we know how much it was? Can we refund you so this comes back to this? And where this is also stemming from is that, again, from our understanding, those people, about 20 of them, that had the great heart to serve the club at the time or to get that lease back, had a few amendments to the constitution of the club, the 1999 constitution that they suggested, which when we read through, or the committee then read through, realized that if this is signed off and these are brought into the constitution of Kyadondo, it stops being a membership, a players, because the membership is players and non-playing people paying a membership. So the club is owned by the players, generally by the public. Yes. So if those amendments had been brought onto book, that would mean those 20 people or thereabouts would be the owners of this club at a 75% ownership, and then the playing membership and then those of us that are paying membership would then be put in a Kyadondo Sports Club entity. That entity would only run the sports activities but would not own the ground. We are saying this is a membership club. The members have got to run this. So that is the whole thing about Kyadondo Rugby Club, Kyadondo Sports Club. You all have seen some receipts with Sports Club and Rugby Club. So there were a couple of things that were done in two things. One is naivety or maybe ignorance. A couple of people who were thrown at a couple of times back in 2011, 2012 that they didn't exactly understand, because some of those are people were discussing, oh, if we pay this, we shall own 75% of which would mean it is a share, they own 75% shares and 25%, but it's a company that is registered by guarantee, not by shareholding. So there are a couple of people that were on the ExCom that didn't understand those things. And maybe now from understanding the story and asking the questions, I start to believe that there were people who knew exactly what they were doing and were taking charge or maybe advantage of the others in there, and all of that. So that standoff, if as you put it, is really about people who are saying, we've been elected by the players, we've been elected by the paying members of this club, and so we are a membership club, and we are saying you cannot change this to a group of people owning this piece of land. Whether it is so they can sell it or whatever, that is really the secondary issue. The issue is about the ownership of Ugandan sports land. And we want it to just stay, as that. And because we can't really speak much more on that than I've shared, because this is something that we've presented to the Uganda Rugby Union, who've been very helpful. And through them dealing with the National Council of Sports, which is in many ways government, because it's the government body that looks over sport in Uganda, to help us and mediate on this. But there are other bodies, the Uganda Law Society and all of those, that we also want to deal with. So, no, it's not one of those that, oh, the club is going to collapse because this is going on. No, the sport continues, everything continues. There is just a technicality somewhere that we need to deliver and just, ensure that everything goes as per a constitution that was put together for this club.
That's great. Putting a lot of clarity on that. Trevor, any last words with Kyadondo Sevens on the weekend? Last words maybe to the fans or to your teammates? That's up to you.
All I can say is come support good rugby on Saturday and Sunday. Come support your teams. I believe everyone has a team that he or she supports. So by the end of the day, it's rugby. Let's all come together, watch the good game of rugby, and be there with us to support us as we play. Thank you.
Yeah, I know I've realized what Sarah does when she's not playing rugby. What do you do outside the pitch?
I'm more of a trainer, fitness trainer.
Okay.
Most of the times I'm training fitness, or I'm with the Accra kids training them.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
So if someone wants to get your services as a fitness trainer, do you have a page? Do you have somewhere they can find you? Is it just a phone number situation?
No, I actually use my social medias.
Okay.
I use Twitter, it's Trevor Ochan Trevor, not on Faustino.
Okay.
And in Facebook, Ochan Trevor, not on Faustino. And TikTok, I use Atre.
Atre?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure that people will note that. Sarah, why don't you Kyadondo weekend, Kyadondo Sevens? Kichoyagala okugamba abantu manyi wabagambye eddamu waluba mugenda kukyusaamu naye waliwo kyoyagala okusembyayo?
Kyensembyayo mwenna abawagizi mwenna oba owagira abasajja oba abakazi okusingira ddala ku luno wagire bakazi temunyumya mbw ataase no yatutta akakopo ate lero at least twagala abakazi babeere nga bazanya emabega tuwulira gundi oyita ono obakubira mu ngalo namwe mugezeeko otegeera enzanya y'abakazi kubanga kituufu abakazi si be bagenda okusaamu amaanyi abasajja beekuba n'ali ebweru bwatudde nawulira nkituufu n'oluka n'ogamba oba anaavaawo ogenda okulaba asituse ekitali mu bakazi kubanga kyo ebyabakazi bibeera okwesika mijoozi nviiri ebyo naye era mututwalireyo gye tuli tujja mmala tuveeyo ekirala kyembagamba mujje mwenna mukwate obudde mukeere buli kimu kiri sorted mubeere nga mukimanyi oba oli waki ab'amazzi babakozeeka abanayiro nammwe abasoda bujwisi buli omu ebyokulya emmere bino nti ate lanchi etubuka ate enfuluma esimanga ngende naggulu noonya leero buli kimu weekiri mama Kanyanya naye yasitookinze dda abalinze bulinzi era tujja bba basanyufu bambi nga muzze mu nnamba ennyingi.
So it's been a very, very interesting conversation, chilling with the Kyadondo family, Trevor, Ochan from the Heathens, Nakafeero from the Thunderbirds, and my very good friend Desire Derekford Mugumisa. Yeah, so from us at the Fat Cats podcast, we just want to tell you guys, 8 a.m. Saturday, Kyadondo Sevens is the place to be, and it's a 2-day occasion, so Saturday, your whole weekend is sorted. All you have to do is just make sure, are you paying ordinary, are you paying VIP, are you paying VVIP? Find where you, yeah?
I have just received a message from our local organizing committee.
Yes.
And I think it's a very important point for our people that are playing on the day.
Okay.
Hydration sorted. Our friends from Pepsi have come on board for all teams for both days. Water also sorted. So, yeah.
That's great, and we've also had someone from the video team saying, "I hope that the rainmaker has been paid."
Like I said,
the mobile money for the rainmaker in advance.
Like I said, we are dealing with ice baths for the players in case, but the rain will also not play around with us.
Yeah. Anyway,
that is all I can say.
Thank you for being part of the Fat Cats Rugby podcast, and see you next week. But first, see you at Kyadondo on the weekend.